All right, so now it's official. He is gone. Philip Rivers announced that he is retiring. He told the San Diego Union Tribune, quote, "It's just time." He added, quote, "It's just right," end of quote. And, I got to agree on so many different levels. And not because of the career he's had, but because he also said in a separate statement, quote, "Every year, January 20th is a special and emotional day. It is St. Sebastian's feast day, the day I played in the AFC Championship without my ACL, and now the day that after 17 seasons, I'm announcing my retirement from the National Football League. Thank you, God, for allowing me to live out my childhood dream of playing quarterback in the NFL." End of quote. All right, so a lot to unpack in that statement. I do want to say his defining moment of his entire career was 13 years ago. I mean, think about that for a minute. Forget Willis Reed. Talk about Philip Rivers. Because Rivers, hobbling around that field, trying to find a way to get a win against the Patriots dynasty, when other guys would be sitting at home, really was iconic. This guy's dragging his leg around, trying to drag his team to the Super Bowl. And the fact that he never won a Super Bowl. So what I'm saying is, go ahead and start measuring this guy for a gold jacket right now, because there's no doubt that he's earned that spot in Canton. In fact, not just a spot there, but on the very first ballot. He retires as the 5th all-time passer in terms of passing yardage, 421 TD passes, and you want a guy that you can count on to play no matter what, that's your guy. He was second only to Brett Favre in consecutive games played. In other words, every Sunday, no matter what the weather was, no matter what was happening during the season, no matter what was going on with his body, 17 was going to be out there. And honestly, the guy can still sling it. No doubt about that. Definitely no doubt in his mind. As he told the UT, quote, "I can sit here and say, I can still throw it. I love to play," end of quote. And see, that to me is also where there's some separation with Philip Rivers and so many other guys. There aren't many other guys who play that game who loved it as much as Philip Rivers. In fact, there aren't too many people who have done anything with more juice and more passion than Philip Rivers. As proof of that, check out his new job, his new gig. He's not going to sit on a beach. He's not going to sit in a studio somewhere. He's going to be a high school football coach at St. Michael Catholic High School in Alabama. I mean, that is the absolute best. That is so on brand. How awesome would it be to play high school football for Coach Philip Rivers? Let me get back to that statement for a moment, too. The statement also includes lines like, "I appreciate the opposing defenses, making it challenging physically and mentally every week. I also enjoyed the banter," end quote. Man, that is the truth. Fact, nobody enjoyed the banter more than Philip Rivers. Hell, Philip Rivers revolutionized the banter game. 4 of the best words in the history of the NFL are Philip Rivers mic'd up. Because when Philip Rivers was on the field and he would say, "I'm mic'd today," you knew something good was going to happen. You knew you were going to get like the iconic shout of "quit crying" that he directed at the Titans. Quit crying. And of course, he'd probably chase that with a "dadgummit." And you were going to hear him correcting the opposing defenses. J.J. Watt had this great tweet this morning. Quote, "I'll never forget lining up for a play and Phil pointing to one of our linebackers and telling him he was lined up wrong based off the blitz, and we were about to run and being 100% correct about it. Ha ha. One of the smartest I've ever played against and a hell of a competitor." End of quote. The only thing wrong with that tweet is the fact that Watt used the word hell. And smart man that he is, he corrected it with "heck of" 30 minutes later. Rivers certainly was not shy about letting you know how smart he was, how much homework he had done, and he would correct you and your defense if you guys were wrong. This guy's too much. You're not the Mike. Why are you lined up there? Like he's correcting them on their defensive alignment. And if he didn't like what he was saying, he was going to let you know that as well. Unstinking believable. That's horse mess. I think that's probably the part or the thing I'm going to miss most about Philip. I mean, I'm going to miss the freaky throws, the unorthodox form, the facial expressions on the sideline. But most of all, I think I'm going to miss all that dad-gum trash talk. Like, you know, if something good just happened, he was going to let you hear that too. That is one of my favorite exchanges ever during a game, and there's not one curse word in it. Like, well, actually there was, but not from Phil. Hey, 17, stay humble. Hey, 17, keep talking. He's like, what, I'm not going to be excited? Yeah, I'll say it. I'll say it right in your ear. And if he wasn't breaking down the details of the play, he was just shouting one word. I mean it. Find me anybody anywhere who loves anything as much as this guy loves ball. And it wasn't even all on mic. So good. Philip Rivers seeing Darius Slay in the tunnel. Quote, early and often, Slay. Early and often, Slay. Philip Rivers really is one of one. And if you need further evidence of that, check out this next part from that statement. Quote, I appreciate the referees for putting up with all my fussing. I think I was right most of the time. Dadgummit. Once again, legend. Nobody else is going to work in a dadgummit into a retirement statement. I mean, sure, we've heard it on the field. He worked it into a retirement statement. And certainly they're not going to do it in referencing the officials, which is awesome. And the guy was not afraid to let the refs hear about it. And let me interject something personally, too. Over the years, I've really, really enjoyed talking to Philip Rivers. As an example, back in 2017, he talked about the role of being the face of a franchise and the responsibility that comes along with that.
Well, I think very seriously, and I think it's a heck of an honor, really, and a heck of a responsibility to have. And I'd like to consider myself a heck of a leader, and I think all guys that are leaders, that have been leaders in wherever they are and what their profession is. It's them first understanding it takes everybody. I never have liked the phrase, oh, it's my team. But I know that some of that comes with the position. You want to be a servant leader. You want to know that the guys, you're one of the guys. It's a special role. It's one I dreamed about being in. I had all those guys, Marino and Elway and Montana and Aikman and Favre and Manning, and all those guys were on my wall as young kids, and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be playing NFL quarterback, and I've been able to live out that dream now for over a decade, and I don't take it for granted.
I think you can tell by how much time I'm spending on this in the open that I hold this guy in really high regard. He never did take any of it for granted, and he's been a heck of a leader. And as proof of that, he did close out the statement by saying this, quote, thanks to the fans in San Diego and around the nation that both cheered and booed. Special thanks to my teammates. Without a doubt, my favorite part of the game, being a teammate. Thank you for being mine. Lastly, thank you to my wife and my best friend Tiffany and our children, Hallie, Caroline, Grace, Gunnar, Sarah, Peter, Rebecca, Claire, Anna. Could not have done it without y'all's unwavering support. As my playing career comes to an end, the next chapter begins. And it has been an amazing journey, Philip. In fact, I can't wait to see what's next. Nuke Cheppy. Nuke Cheppy. And so we begin. Amazing guy. Man, honestly, we should all have the kind of passion and energy and heart and love of the game for anything we do. So here's to Philip Rivers. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer in my mind, on and off the field.